All right, so listen. When it comes to the NBA playoffs coming back in the regular season, Adam Silver's been spending the last month or two with the league development office as well as with the board, trying to, as well as with Chris Paul, Kyrie Irving, the player development and the player association, the National Basketball Association, bringing things together to resolve any solutions to bringing the season back together. If it's actually in Las Vegas or Orlando, bring it back, jump in directly into the playoffs, making votes for any general managers and players if they actually want to come back and play due to the coronavirus. There's a lot of things that are speculating up in the air, and it looks like during this time period, pieces are finally falling to where we can actually expect in mid or later July to where the season can actually start again. We've seen with the coronavirus, it was a huge story for the last 2.5 months. We've actually now seen with the death of George Floyd and everything coming kind of in past to here, things are on a holding period. The NBA is evaluating, and we've actually seen this a couple of days ago with Damian Lillard. He was speaking in because with the Blazers, they're around 11th or 12th seed. They're a team to where if there was actually 20, 30 games left in the season, they could potentially fight and get that playoff spot. But when it actually comes to a last 10 games to play in the season starting late July, it makes no sense for the Blazers and Damian Lillard. Lillard was on an interview and he did express himself, letting the NBA and everyone know, and he doesn't care, but he did state if there are those final games left in the season, he's not going to be playing. He does not care if so, and he will be with the team, but he's not going to be participating in playing any games. You know, my thought process when it comes to this, I totally agree where he's coming from. You know, if you're not going to make the playoffs, if you are a competitive player like he is and smart as well, evaluating the whole scenario, it makes no sense. You know, with the corona even going around, even if that's hit or miss, how it is, especially with Rudy Gobert and other players that did contract it, it makes no sense that even if you're not going to make the playoffs or even be a contender in the Western Conference. So Damian Lillard, stay safe out there, travel with the team, support them. But if this were to be, I agree with him, you know, not to participate. Now, if you're like a LeBron James and Anthony Davis, a contender, or even going to be in the playoffs, this is something to where you're looking into the postseason and finish off the regular season and postseason. But Jason Whitlock is going to jump into here and kind of, I'll give my take in whenever they speak in here.
Well, shots fired on that one. But listen, it's two things, though. It's two things here. One, on his statement about not playing, the issue with the statement, not that it's not true, is that it's really, at the end of the year, if you don't make the playoffs, ownership, general managers make the decision not to play players in that situation down the stretch, whether they want to avoid injury or they want to have, you know, young talent be able to have a chance to play the rest of the season, figure out who they have. But management makes that decision. Dame's part was he spoke what they've been saying in the NBA. They do it in football for years.
Listen, the season is a wash when it comes to Damian Lillard. There's nothing to prove coming back, play a couple games just for the fans and everything. When you have a pandemic going around like this, it doesn't make any sense. The momentum's gone with. This kind of resembles an example like Stephen Curry. You know, he was out for around 2 to 3 months within the season. You know, he played the first 20 games or so. He was out for the next 3 months. And then he actually decided to come back for these last 20 to 30 games. He only played around those last, I think it was around like 7 to 12 games. I didn't agree with the move. I thought he should have just stayed healthy. The season was already a wash. There's nothing to put your body in that crisis for. I guess Steph Curry just wanted to have some fun with the fans, and you know he missed the game. So I mean, he's a man. He's a player. You know, he can make his own decisions as a fan or looking, three-dimensionally in the perspective outside. I would say no. Same thing with Damian Lillard, as well as if you're one of these lower tier teams that aren't going to make the playoffs, especially if you are a star player. But if you're a young cat trying to get some more minutes, you know, kind of expose your star play to the whole fans and everyone else in the NBA, go ahead. But I have no problem at all when it comes to Damian Lillard in this decision
now
whatsoever.
He got the backlash from it. So, but he did go on to explain that if it's a playoff scenario, his team gets a chance, he will play, of course. But when he went back at Dan, again, you got to understand, Dame is a grown man. So now you coming at him sideways, and he called him spoiled and entitled, a brat. You know, That hurt Dame, and Dame came back at him strong. When you're an analyst in our job, when you put yourself out there like that, these are the repercussions that come from. Now, was he right or wrong? Dame, in his way, he said he was right. To me, I would have handled it a lot differently, but I get where Dame is coming from. You come at me like.
Yeah, I get where Dame's coming from, but at the end of the day, you did sign a contract. You are supposed to play the games. But I'm coming to where I agree with Dame, to where if you're talking to Adam Silver and you're planning on allowing the Portland Trailblazers to be one of those final teams to play to finish the regular season, if you're speaking to Adam Silver, I'm fine and cool with you doing that. If it's already been passed to where all these teams have to play, including the Portland Trailblazers, and you're denying not to, then of course you're probably going to have to take the fine for your team to pay to not play, per se. Besides from that, either way, if you're not playing, you're going to have to make a fine, or as well as the rules didn't go down to where you guys are going to be playing in the regular season.
Here's why I'm coming at you. You ain't been in my situation. You don't understand what I've been through in my past and why I've gotten here, and you don't even understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. So.
I'm jumping forward. I want to see what Jason Whitlock has to say about this. I think it's Modest Riley first.
He would have wrote every letter of it. I was like, damn, Dame, hot as hell. It's going to be on. With that said, there's really a spider.
Listen, whenever it comes down to Damian Lillard's tweet right here, and the person did say that he was being spoiled, yeah, that's based on what he's looking at. When he says, hey, if the season is going, I'm refusing not to play. I understand where that reporter is coming from, but Damian Lillard kind of took it a little too far about his whole life and career and everything like that, his background.
Web of issues going on right here, and I'm going to give you just two of them. One is Damian Lillard's hypocrisy. Whatever you want to call it. I called it Hollywood, and Dame know I love him, but hey, I got to call it like I see it. Your rookie year, y'all lost y'all last 13 games, and you played in all of them, including the last 6 when they were meaningless because you guys were out the playoffs. Don't forget that was...
Wait, hold on real quick, and this is what I said around a minute or two ago. If you're a young star or a rookie, second, third time, year in the league playing, you're trying to prove yourself. You're trying to get as much games as possible. It doesn't make a difference. But whenever you've been in the season for 7, 8 to 9 seasons, you've been in the playoffs. Right now, as a star, you have too much dignity. If you're not going to make the playoffs, it makes no sense to play these 10 meaningless games whenever you're trying to, prolong your career as well as your mental and physical state. So, I agree with Dame where he's coming from when it comes to this decision making. But overall, let me see what he chimes in.
And missed the playoffs. Only time it's happened for Dame. So Dan has a point, but then the real issue why everybody got juiced up on this is because they don't think Dan is qualified. They're trying to check his certification because of his career on the play.
Former NFL backup quarterback talking about the NBA. Most people don't care. This wasn't Stephen A. Smith coming at him. This isn't Adrian Wojnarowski coming at him. This is a former NFL quarterback coming at him, and the reaction's a bit over the top, and you've really brought some attention to Dan. Dan has issued 2 apologies because he can't handle the backlash of Twitter, and I'm sure some of the feedback has been racialized. The only thing I would say to Dame Lillard, and I say this to all of us, and I think this is something Damian will understand perhaps as he gets older, because it took me a long time to understand it. Anytime you're of significant wealth, and Dame Lillard's due about another $250 million, I think, over the next 6 years, and even us on this show, being athletes. I was a tremendous high school athlete. There was a tremendous high school athlete while living in my father's 1-bedroom, 400-square-foot apartment in the hood. So despite being poor, I was a tremendous high school athlete that lived a privileged life in high school because of my athleticism. I was spoiled and entitled. Even to this day, living the life that I live now, I have to fight being spoiled, being entitled. Bark dog, a hit dog, is the one that barks. But the other thing I would just reiterate to Dame and everybody, we're all capable. The life that we live, sitting on TV, talking about sports, and getting paid for it from our homes. That will create a level of entitlement and being spoiled.
So basically what they're talking about in this subject is Damian Lillard coming across as spoiled or being entitled, self-entitled. I was coming more at it to where if I agree with his decision of what he said, I'm fine with Dame saying that. It did sound a little more self-entitled and spoiled as as you're quoting and tweeting it, the way he did do that. Overall, this is something he needs to talk to Adam Silver, increase his voice with the other teams just to start the playoffs. Don't worry about, quote unquote, trying to fight to get into the playoffs. This is something with the coronavirus, everything that's going around. You just need to jump in the playoffs, get the postseason done with already, and move on to the next season. That's how I look at things. If the NBA is, quote unquote, forcing the last, all 32 teams, or maybe it's around 20 or so, to play the last 10 games or 20 games in the regular season, finish it off. I don't have a problem with Damian Lillard saying no, but if you are going to say no, then you're going to have to pay off the fees or fines, which it is for quote unquote load management in this scenario. But let's see what Adam Silver does decide in this situation. See how we go across within it. But with Damian Lillard, this is something how we're going to have to see how this is going to play off for him.